Chaos. What a pain in the butt, right? Wrong. Because honestly, I think the entire perspective which people have about chaos itself is flawed. And therefore, I'm going to share with you some of the experiences I've had in how to deal with chaos. And by the end of this video, I'm going to give you crystal clear 4 steps which you need to implement in dealing with chaos. So make sure that you watch this video right till the end. Probably this is about 2016, 2017 when we just about started off setting up the entire PACE funnel and the PACE business model for us, and we had a lot of PACE programs already happening, gotten a lot of one-to-one clients, and we had come to the brink of business where we had to scale up. And a huge factor for scaling up is to build a team so that we are able to service the kind of clients which were coming in. And I think the biggest challenge in specifically a business like ours is to build a team which has the capability to add value and service clients in the same way we would do it, because we are a very, very specialized competency, capability, acumen and expertise based business service. When you start hiring people who come from various different backgrounds, of course from the training and coaching industry, and getting them to align to our system, guess what? Welcome to chaos, because everybody is not on the same page. You have clients coming in, and you got to make sure that your team is ready for them to handle clients in the future, and a lot of development needs to happen. And then suddenly having a big size team when compared to having a very small team can lead to a lot of chaos, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you have gone through that. I want to slip in here, what does chaos mean itself? Because like I started off, I told you that the perception of chaos itself is flawed. Let's understand what is chaos. Chaos is basically when a lot of unforeseen events happens more frequently than you imagine, and therefore you feel like things are out of your control. Now I want you to understand that chaos happens when there is growth, because every time there is growth, you are embarking into uncharted territory, and obviously things are going to be unforeseen. So the key is to make that unforeseen into seen and deal with it. It's as simple as that. Let me tell you what I did. The first thing what I did was to make sure that I know I'm changing the unforeseen into seen, which means what? I want to be clear about what are the problems I'm facing. I wanted to be clear about what challenges I'm going through, so that I know what am I dealing with in the first place. And I knew for a fact that even if I deal with them today, tomorrow new problems are going to crop up. There's no two ways about that. But that's not an excuse for not dealing with the problems, because as and when you're dealing with problems on a day-to-day basis, it's still progress, right? You're still gaining control. So I sat down with my team, I brainstormed on all the problems, and I got clear about what are the problems we're facing. And I started working on solutions for all those problems. And guess what? When I started implementing solutions, those solutions led to even more different problems, because one led to another, which is totally fine. But when I look back, every single solution which I implemented, even though it opened up more doors or problems, it still made a lot of progress. So that was step number 1 which I did. Step number 2 was that I was extremely proactive with my team when it comes to communication. See, the biggest problem in managing chaos is that people are not aware about what is happening. And I knew for a fact that if my team was not aware of what was happening, it would create a sense of insecurity, it would create a sense of uncertainty, and it would create fear and ambiguity about what is the future. There's no problem in letting people know that there is a problem. Okay, at least they are prepared to deal with it. But when you don't let people know there's a problem, and then they see things happening around them, then the way they react is out of your control. The more they're aware, the more they're prepared. And that's exactly what I did. I made sure I over-communicated so I could let people know, hey, you know what? Yes, we're going through chaos. This is the problem. This is how we're dealing with it. So get prepared. And at least the mindset was proactive, where people came together. It was aligned. That was the second step. The third step which I did was, once I started implementing solutions and I was clear that the solutions are effective and it's helping me move in the direction of my goals, I had to create processes and systems to make sure that these are sustained, these are consistently implemented, and avoids these problems cropping up again. So that led to a lot of creations of processes and systems across teams, across different areas of a client interaction, so that at any given point in time, everybody knows what to do, everybody knows how to do it, and it is also measured whether people are doing it in the right way or not. This helped me gain a lot more control in the team to control this so-called chaos, and at least is moving in the right direction. And finally, the fourth thing which I did was to focus a lot on developing and training my team so their capability is prepared enough for them to implement these processes and systems, for them to handle it in a manner where these situations don't crop up again. And I tell you what, that entire zone of 1.5 years of building that exclusive level 1 team, I'm talking about 8 to 12 people approximately of highly capable, competent business coaches for them to work with, hundreds of clients. It was chaotic, there's no two ways about that. But when you handle it in a step-by-step methodical approach, the key is to make the unforeseen seen. And that's exactly what I did. 4 steps, just as a summary for you. Step number 1, be clear about what your problem is in that chaos, because that's what makes the unforeseen seen. So identify your gaps and obstacles. Step number 2, after you come up with solutions for all these obstacles, ensure that you are over communicating with the people involved so that they're aware and they're not taken aback or there are no surprises and they're mentally prepared to deal with it. Number 3, build processes and systems after you have proof that the solutions are effective and it's working. And number 4, train and develop all stakeholders involved so that they're able to sustain what you've implemented to avoid these situations happen again. And I think that's one of the most straightforward ways of dealing with chaos, so that it becomes more systematic, and at the end of the day, you are able to sustain the solutions you've implemented. On the other hand, just remember this. Chaos is part and parcel of the journey. Chaos is also evidence that you are growing, because every time you grow, there is chaos. So it all depends on how you're going to approach it and how you're going to deal with it. Chaos is inevitable. The key is how are you going to deal with it. And I want to know, how are you dealing with chaos? Do you run away from it, or do you deal with it in a methodical manner to bring it into control? Because you can't avoid it, my friend, no matter what. Comment below and let me know how are you dealing with chaos. In the meanwhile, I'm going to see you soon. Take care. Bye.